and welcome to the Chicago Clubhouse. This is the sports talk show where we think we know what we're talking about, but we really don't know shit. So my name is Emilio Bucks, and I'm the moderator and producer of the show. And joining me, as usual, is the lovely Miss Kristen Petit.
Hello.
And we have the notorious T-Nick in the building.
What's up?
All right, people. Let's just get right into it. It's bear season. You know what I mean? That's why we're here. And the most talked about issue with these Bears, which is every year, is the quarterback position, the quarterback controversy that we had, so to speak, this year. As we know by now, Mitch was given the job last Friday. People seem to be kind of on the fence about that. Kristen, where are you on this? I see a Mitchell sticker in the background, so I kind of have an idea where you're going with this.
I am Team Mitchell. I did think, though, that Foles was going to get the job just because I know the coaching staff, the new coaching staff that was brought in, everything had Nick Foles in mind. So once he got signed, I figured he was going to get the job. I know Nick Foles was at a disadvantage because of COVID. He really couldn't, show them what he could do. But in the moments that he did have a chance, he didn't wow them. So the job was Mitch. And I think they have made a good decision. I see good things happening for Mitch this year. His teammates are confident. He's confident. He's found his confidence. That's what he said today. He's going to have no regrets this year. He's going to go out and just ball out. And I think we've seen in the past when he has just balled out and forgotten about everything that was going on, he does well. So I see good things this year.
Okay, a lot of this sounds like this depends on Nagy then, as much freedom as he's willing to give Mitch. Mm-hmm. T-Nick, where are you on this?
Well, it's funny that you use that word controversy. Chicago really has never had a quarterback controversy.
I put it in quotes.
Yeah, unless you want to include like Eric Kramer and Steve Walsh or Jay Cutler and Josh McCown.
Excuse me, sir. When the Commander 6 was in the building, there was no controversy. Smoking Jay had a lot.
His own team even preferred Josh McCown.
Hey, haters.
Right.
But anyways.
But, I do think they made the right decision. As I said earlier, it was Mitch's job to lose.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but he will lose it. I'm thinking probably like Game 6, maybe when they play the Panthers.
Okay.
He's going to get pulled. Nick is going to come in, save the day. And then that's it for Mitch. He won't get his job back, and this is his contract year. So he's done.
So you think it's going to take all the way to Game 6? I mean, like, what kind of record would we be looking at that would get him pulled? Because that's kind of late in the season to even pull him if he's struggling by that point.
Well, the first 3 games really are kind of like, I don't want to say gimmies, but I'm going to say gimmies. I mean, Detroit, come on, man. Giants.
Two of the worst pass defenses in the league. So, yeah.
The Falcons, maybe, but I doubt it. So I'm thinking that he's going to get maybe to Game 6, and then Nick will come in.
So what kind of record are you predicting by Game 6 that would cause him to get pulled that late in the season?
I want to say like maybe 4-1.
4-1? Oh. All right, Kristen, come on, hit him. Get him, Kristen. 4-1. Why would you pull him at 4-1?
There would be a mutiny at 4-1 because they'd be like, wait a minute, why stop what we're doing? And then while we're talking about these gimmies in the beginning, remember when they struggled against New York and when they struggled against Washington and when they struggled against Detroit last year, it had nothing to do with the offense. It was the defense. So it's almost like sometimes the defense plays down to their competition. But if this man is 4-1, even 3-2, I can't really see them making that move.
Yeah, I got to side with you on that one.
Like I said, the first few teams are garbage teams, so it doesn't even matter. But if Mitch is doing bad in the game, he's just screwing it all up, spazzing out, they're gonna pull him and they're gonna put Nick in. And if Nick saves the day, that's his job.
True enough. First 7 opponents, none of them made the playoffs last year. So it's, it kind of works in favor of Mitch. So I don't know. We'll just have to see. And a lot of this, so much of this is still going to depend on Nagy and his play calling and the expectations that he puts on Nick and that defense. We talked about Atlanta in week 3, like, well, you got Matt Ryan out there, like, well, he's going to throw that thing. And so,
right.
You know what I mean?
Matt will throw it to you, though, too. So
this is true. I mean, he's a gunslinger. Gunslinger. So, but, we did not do well on the defensive side as far as takeaways either. So still some unanswered questions. And speaking of those other things, like kind of a long, indecisive off season with COVID and everything. We didn't even know if we were going to have a season, but all is said and done, we're going into week 1. Did the Bears address like all of the glaring needs that I think we saw in last season? What do you feel about that, T-Nick?
No, flat out. You take linebacker, that might be the only one they kind of took seriously. When you look at their other glaring needs, like offensive line, they really didn't do anything. They in the draft, they got Arlington Hambright and the boy from TSU. But I mean, they were 7th round picks, and now one of them is on the practice squad. And then they picked up Jermaine Fetty, who is a penalty machine, just like Bobby Massey and Jay Leno. So it's not really an upgrade.
When I
rename it Charles.
When I see, I mean, you might as well put Jay Leno out there. I mean,
Jay Leno,
Charles Leno, like
whatever the hell his name is, man.
I mean, when I look at this depth chart and I still see Charles Leno Jr. as the starter, like that's disheartening. I mean, ever since he proposed to that white supremacist on national TV, it seems like it's been downhill from there. But maybe he had it coming. Kristen, glaring needs. What do you feel about that?
Well, okay, so technically they addressed them. They didn't address them well. They did address the tight end position. They brought in, he's pretty old, but they did bring in Jimmy G. He's part of my team.
Grandpa.
The G stands for gets touchdowns.
G stands for grandpa, but okay. I like it. Gets touchdowns.
And then they have Cole. Is that his name? Am I saying his name?
Yeah.
Cole.
Yeah.
I think what this will allow them to do is when Mitch had a passer rating of 112.94 when his tight end had at least 40 yards in the game. So they had to address that need. And now they can run the 2 tight end sets, which will cause mismatches for them. And it can then finally include Tariq Cohen back into the offense because he needs to get involved.
Speaking of glaring needs, and you mentioned Tariq, that running back position is, hell, even the Lions, the lowly Lions attempted to improve their running game. I mean, they added another senior citizen to their roster as well, Adrian Peterson. But, I mean, at least the effort was there. We got a guy, David Montgomery, which still some questions around, but now he's going in, 2 to 4 weeks, and who knows how long with a bad groin injury. Now, Kristen, I see your team, Tariq. So, what are you thinking? We going to see more of Tariq in the backfield running in between 275-pound tackles and falling backwards, or what? What are we going to see here?
Even though Matt Nagy wouldn't admit it or say anything, according to Tariq Cohen, David Montgomery is okay. So if you listen to Tariq, David Montgomery should be playing. Now, I mean, that might be just some sportsmanship or whatever, and he's just saying that to keep people off, not knowing what's happening or be secretive. But I think I don't. with the way the offensive line is, they don't open up enough holes. So I think Tariq could be good, but the line needs to get better. And like T. Nick mentioned earlier, they really did not address it the way they should have addressed it.
No, like the offensive line is one of those things. It's, those aren't the sexy positions or the picks in the draft. You know what I mean? And you only talk about an O-line when it's bad. You know what I mean?
But if they really want to follow that Kansas City blueprint, they have so many draft picks, so many young people that they built up that line, and you see how that works for the type of offense that they want to run. So
we just got to see if Ryan Pace, again, he just tries to make these splashes in drafting, and he hasn't done well. Kevin White, Leonard Floyd.
Some would say Mitch.
God, man.
Oh yeah, I would. We've dogged Mitch enough, but like, oh my God, he drafted up to get Mitch. All right, I can't even talk about that anymore.
And that's a shame that man gets punished for that.
Let's not talk.
Yeah. It isn't all his fault. I mean, he didn't ask them to draft up and pick him out of North Carolina, like not even a football school. But
that's all right, Mitch.
So
all right.
Speaking of a running game, can I just interject real quick?
Absolutely.
Cordero Patterson, CP. He's running back now. He's still listed as a wide receiver.
Okay, so where are you getting the? T. Nick has some insider info. He's going to be running the ball.
He's running the ball, but he's still listed as a wide receiver.
And why is that? To like fool the fool?
I thought everyone knew that, but no, that's what he's doing. No,
they did take reps.
They didn't have anybody else
during preseason. Do you think he could be every down back though?
Yes, I do. Have you did you see him in Tennessee?
I mean, I've seen Cordero. I've seen him.
He came out of the backfield explosive. Okay. When he was in Oakland, he came out of the backfield explosive. New England, same thing. Dude is an all-around football player. Now, before you say, can he block? We'll see.
He cannot. That's why they wouldn't make him a tight end. I was waiting for my opening.
Before you say it, say it.
I knew you were going to say it. I
was waiting for my opening so I could let you know he cannot. So
maybe he'll be better off it. But he needs to be able to block coming out of the backfield too. But
I want him to come out the backfield because he does make plays happen, but he isn't the answer for what we were talking about. I mean, they're just going to have to go with this three-headed monster where Cordero and Tariq, they're the splashy guys, the trick plays, the make things happen. And then they need David Montgomery as the bruiser to get those hard yards and things like that. And then they have Ryan Null and some other people. So
yeah, like I would honestly see Patterson as like that short yardage guy with that size. You know what I mean? I have wishes of him being more like a Derrick Henry, just plowing through guys. But we'll kind of see what happens. Like Tariq, like I'd rather them play him the way they did 2 years ago, where he was more of a gadget guy, and I would like to see them use him in that slot position a little bit more. Like get that man beyond the line of scrimmage and then get him the ball. Give him some room to create something, because all of this running out of the backfield with him, and then him, I mean, the guy's 175 pounds. I mean, and
he get him killed.
Yeah, and he's running straight for the sidelines. I can't say I blame him. I mean, geez.
I would too.
Yeah.
Remember when he was good, that when they used him well, they also had a tight end. So I think they're hoping now that with having useful tight ends that they can use Tariq the way they used to use him, hopefully.
And it was almost like every time he came into the game, it was like, oh, they're going to give the ball to him.
Yeah.
And so you just saw the defense zero in on him. So even with a good blocking tight end, it's going to be tough to hold off like all of the linebackers on that
They were
team.
very predictable.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. Now we've talked about some big concerns on the offensive side of the ball. Let's talk about some strong points. You know, and I think Mitch's fate, a lot of that relies on how well the defense plays and how well the defense is able to help him out. That first year, Eddie Jackson was a monster, and we got a lot of takeaways, and the defense was scoring touchdowns. We did not see much of that last year. So going into this year, what are our strong points on the defensive side of the ball, and what are some concerns on the defensive side of the ball? Where are you at on that, T-Nick?
Well, I think one of our strong point, the strongest point actually, is linebackers. They added Robert Quinn and let Leonard Floyd go wherever he wanted to go. I think he went to the Rams.
I think he went home.
That would probably be the best place for him.
That's where he should go. Okay.
Well, yeah, so you got Robert Quinn and Khalil Mack. That's pretty strong right there. And a good pass rush will actually help the secondary. The secondary is kind of weak.
Well, absolutely. You know what I mean? If you could, you know, because really, while we're at it, like, we didn't see a lot of pressure on the quarterbacks last year. Not even from Khalil. And you know, I know a lot of that had to do with Leonard Floyd. He was not a threat. He was not a factor. And
not at all.
You know, so Kristen, where are you on the defensive strengths, and what are you concerned about on the defensive side of the ball?
I think always with the Bears, or the last few years, is the secondary is the concern. But they won't be as big of a concern if the line gets pressure. And, you know, Akeem Hicks hasn't played a full season in a while. Danny Trevathan hasn't. And they are so key to the defense running smoothly. Robert Quinn, he's on the injured list. He hasn't really played because he has an issue. Khalil Mack was just on the injury report for a knee, but most people aren't really concerned about that because they were practicing indoors, and they say that Matt Nagy usually gives them time off for that. But I agree with T-Nick, so we're going to agree again. I don't know about this. This spells bad news with all this agreeing. But I agree with him that the line has to get pressure. Otherwise, they're going to leave that secondary on the island. And we know, especially with coming up with Detroit, we know what happened last time. Yeah. When they were left on that island, they couldn't even get pressure on two no-names. And now they have Matthew Stafford this time. So,
Kenny Galladay was cooking, dude.
Oh,
cooking.
Burning them. Man, Kyle Fuller, I started calling him Walt Harris Jr. Walt Harris Jr. because actually Peanut was Walt Harris Jr. Yeah, but he was getting cut. Yeah. And so now Kyle's Walt Harris Jr.
Yes.
Jr. The third.
Jr.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know.
Robert, Roquan Smith, it's time for him to take that step. We've been waiting.
Absolutely.
They said he's more focused this year. So
is he on his meds? He's more focused.
That might be the key. That might be
what they meant. Focalin, those pills. That's focused.
Well, whatever it takes, they need him to be on. It's time for him to live up to what everyone has thought he was going to be since he's been here. So
So I mean, and he had a good standout season that rookie campaign, and he has some personal issues. I say it in jest. I don't mean to make fun of mental health issues. But come on, get it together. Right? So right. I'm rooting for them all, even Mitch. I'm rooting for them all. I mean,
you're not a fan if you don't, because if he goes bad, that means you've lost some games. And there is no guarantee that Nick, especially if the supporting cast wasn't even good with Mitch. And so that if he's been bad, that means you've lost some games. Now you bring in Nick Foles. And if that supporting cast is bad and no one's holding, the line isn't holding for him either, and he's not even a runner, we're going to see Tyler Bray.
Exactly. So interesting stat. Interesting stat is Bears 5-0 when they were able to score a touchdown in the first half. Now, that is an extremely low bar. That's a low bar.
Very.
But can we get a touchdown in the first half?
That's crazy. All we need is one.
I mean, so like even the 8 at the end of the
your
day,
boy
yeah,
can do that.
I mean, somebody better step up. Old
All
man
by himself.
Graham, Cordell,
Yeah.
somebody has got to step up, you know. And again, I got to go back to Matt Nagy and his play calling and playing to the strength of his players and not trying to force his players to play to his scheme and to what is in his head. Because we're thinking about it, if the Bears don't, at least, I can't even say make the playoffs, if the Bears don't get a playoff victory, is he and even Ryan Pace on the hot seat at this point? Where are you at on that, Kristen?
Definitely. It's not just getting, they have to win one.
They got to win.
And deservedly so, they would be on the hot seat, especially if Nick Foles does come in and they still don't make it and the scheme still isn't working right. And like you just said, Nagy doesn't adjust to what he has because he doesn't have the same players all around as they have in Kansas City, as they have
Nobody does.
in Philadelphia.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
you know, so, but if you have strengths, you have players with strengths like a Cordero Patterson or Tariq, you know, play up to it. And if he doesn't, he will be on the hot seat. And then Pace put this together and it's a mess again. It's time to consider both of them being gone.
Yeah. Where are you at on this, T-Nick?
Well, first I'll say that I never thought Matt Nagy was a great coach, and his play calling is terrible. So
you didn't like the trickery. You didn't like the magic
no,
tricks.
he got too cute. You know, just run the ball
with the winking.
Right, this is football, man. Slaps him in the mouth. You know, stop being cute. But
it's a cute league now, man. It's a cute league now. Everybody want to air it out now, man.
Yeah, and that's a problem. And the referees are, don't hit him too hard.
Yeah, man.
It's football,
man. I know, man.
So,
you know.
So this is what I think. I think that Nagy will be on the hot seat if they do not. Well, I think that it'll be a hot seat if they just make the playoffs. It'll be a hot seat. It'll be even hotter for Ryan Pace, I think.
Right.
Because Pace is the one that pulled Nagy in. Pace also is making all these terrible picks, and nothing has come to fruition now. You know, we're in 2020. This dude has been making bad picks since what, 2015, 14?
Yeah, well, Kevin White was his first one.
Yeah.
I mean, he picked a guy who was hurt. You pick an injured guy.
How do you do that?
What? You pick a guy who's not cleared to play football.
Yeah, this dude
can't even work him out. Like,
you know, you notice how in sports that so many of these managers, GMs or whatever, they're too smart for their own good. They try to outthink themselves. Absolutely. They try to one-up somebody and get too cutesy. Yeah. And it doesn't always work out.
Yeah, it rarely works out.
Yeah. It's just like, just do what has worked, what works, and do what works with your team. When they go and last year when they win the I formation, it worked out well. But then
so why did they stop?
Remember every game last year, like third quarter, they would come out on fire and do well, and he made great play calls. Yep. And then none of those play calls were called anymore the rest of the game.
And so that's when you saw those flashes of David Montgomery when he was in that eye. You were like, okay, maybe we have something here.
And then play action worked because David Montgomery worked.
Yeah.
And so then rolling out Mitch worked. Like all these things started clicking. And it's almost like they were like, uh-oh, wait a minute. They're showing that they can play doing something different.
that I didn't think of.
Right.
And, you know, and you had the emergence of Anthony Miller at the end of the season, which was huge. You know what I mean? And we can just only hope that that's going to continue. Okay, so let's 3 keys to a Bears victory. T-Nick.
Well, I think one, don't be cute. Run the ball, smash them in the mouth. Now, maybe a little challenging because you don't have David Montgomery. You don't have your premier back, but you got to use what you got. So I really hate to see Tariq out of that backfield because, like we said, he gets killed. I really hate to see that. They're gonna have to use Cordero.
Okay.
They're gonna have to.
Second key.
The second key, I think, you got to try to contain Galladay. You got to try to contain Kenny Galladay. We're not going to be able to stop him. Kyle Fuller is not going to stop him. But we got to contain him. That's two. The third, we got to get a pass rush. Got to.
Which will obviously help with containing him. Kristen, 3 keys to a Bears W.
Jimmy G and that tight end group. That tight,
okay.
Everyone, Harrison, Cole, Jimmy G, them coming through for Mitch.
Okay.
That is one key. I think playing off the tight end will help the entire offense run.
For the season, absolutely.
And that is a key even to the game against Detroit.
Absolutely.
Second key, I agree again with T-Nick. Oh my gosh.
What's going on here?
Killing me all this agreeing with him.
We gotta get some White Sox Cubs discussions next week. We gotta get some beef going on in the club because this is.
You know why? It's the beginning. Everyone's happy, excited, so that's why we're agreeing. We're just excited because football starts tomorrow.
We'll be miserable by week 4. So
no, we won't. People know we won't.
Just hold on. It's plenty of time.
Bears fans, we're miserable no matter what's going on, good, bad. We're gonna find something wrong with the team. And second key is they have to get a pass rush. Because Matthew Stafford can carve you up. And if they're not, he can move around everything. So if they're not getting to him, the defense is in for a long day. And then my third key of the game will be play calling. Play calling to your strengths. Okay.
Really quick, my 3 keys, I definitely would say number 1 is that pass rush. Because every game I'm looking for the defense to set the table for Mitch and the offense. You know what I mean? I just need a average, offense that doesn't make mistakes and can score 1 touchdown in the first half. So that pass rush has got to happen. Second key, and I'm going to say this all year, O-line, offensive line, and I don't, that's the key to the season is that O-line, and I don't know, again, when we're looking at Leno and Massey there, and then I'm just not comfortable with that. The third key is I'm going to say so Mitch has had 7 300-yard games in his career. 3 of them have come against Detroit. Let Mitch just play his game.
Yeah.
Stay out of his headset every other minute, telling him this and that. Let the boy play. I mean, you picked him, you're letting him start. Let the boy play. So that's one of my main keys. So before we head out, let's get a little friction going on here. Baseball.
Yes.
Will we have playoff baseball on the north side and the south side? Kristen.
Yes.
Holla at me. Because I don't see any Sox paraphernalia behind you. All I see is Cubs. Okay.
Correct.
All right.
I am a Southside Cubs fan. Yes, they're losing today. Yu Darvish, their best pitcher, a Cy Young candidate, had a rough first inning. He turned that rough first inning into a quality start, though. What's going to stop the Cubs in the long run? Yes, they're going to get into the playoffs, and so will the Sox. The Sox just, I have to give it to them. Hurts my heart. But when they beat you, they beat the hell out of you. So, I got to give it, those boys can hit. But
Boys
like
can hit, and we got some
yeah,
pitching.
they won today 8-1. The Cubs are losing right now, and they're gonna lose. It's in the ninth inning, and their offense is just so horrible. I remember when they chose David Ross, they said, "Oh, he's gonna fix all the problems because he's tough on them." No, situational hitting has nothing to do with the coach.
And that situational hitting is still an issue
Yeah.
with them. It was all last year that was an issue with them,
Yep.
and we're seeing it now. Hey, my White Sox. I mean, we're looking a lot like those 16 Cubs in the way that with the
Yeah.
pitching, like, you know, our bullpen is just chilling. Like you remember Madden used to have to like throw those guys in there just to get them some work. Like, you guys are just gaining weight back there. Like, I gotta get you some work. So like, man, like, T Nick, where you at? South side, north side, playoff baseball
I am not going to bash the Cubs tonight.
tonight.
They are playing pretty well. But I mean the Sox,
Yeah.
they're putting them bats on the ball.
Yeah.
Tim Anderson, Jose Abreu, and Luis
Abreu
Robert.
he's MVP candidate.
Yes.
Anderson, batting title candidate again, second year in a row. Yeah.
Luis Robert.
Oh my God.
Already.
Our center fielder is just bad.
I just want to know why the Cubs didn't bid on this Lewis Robert as well. I'm like, gosh, because I know St. Louis came in second. So I'm like, why didn't the Cubs bid? But whatever. That's my heart.
Cubs do.
They outthunk themselves. You know, Theo's a baseball genius, but you see he has those he has a penchant of starting to outthink himself a little bit sometimes too. You know.
And he's almost like a tornado. You know, they won and now they're falling apart. Like they have nothing in the minor leagues, or everyone who's there who's like A ball. So it'll be forever. And it's a similar thing that happened in Boston.
Exactly.
But I want a non-Cubs Sox for baseball. You know, the Braves are beating the Marlins in the bottom of the seventh, 29-9. I just thought I had to throw.
Oh my God!
I'm sorry. I apologize.
29.
Jesus. They
And
scored more points than the Bears scored.
Yes, exactly.
Easy.
This is gonna be.
The Bears didn't score 29 points in the game last year. I don't think. We'll have to check on that. But
they're still batting in the inning with only one out, and it's 29-9.
Oh my God.
There's no slaughter rule. Damn.
I just had to throw while we're talking about.
Thank you.
My gosh.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
there will be baseball. There will be playoff baseball. How far will they go?
No one knows. You know, my concern about the White Sox is just experience or lack thereof with their skipper and as well as all of their players. They're lacking guys with any sort of playoff experience. Sky's the limit on them, but they just don't have experience yet. But hey, we'll see what happens. So before we wrap it up, let's real quick. What's your pick for this Sunday? What's your pick and your score, T-Nick?
Well, I think like I said, this game is a gimme. So I'm gonna go Bears probably 21-14, something like that.
All right. T-Nick has got Bears 21-14. Where you at, Kristen?
I have 27-21 Bears.
All right. You guys really believe in that offense. All right. I'm picking Bears, of course, but I got 17-10. And
probably closer because it is the first game and there was no preseason.
Just being a little realistic.
Sloppy football.
All around the league, you know what I mean?
You are probably right. I'm being ambitious.
Hey, we're going into week one. That's all we got. We got, sky's the limit. Everybody is 0-0. So everybody's in first place on Sunday, right? Okay, so before we wrap it up, just I want to thank everybody for tuning in and checking out the premiere episode of the Chicago Clubhouse. This is the sports show where obviously you can tell we think we know what we're talking about, but we really don't know shit like any other sports writer. 2020 has been a bear all around in the sports world, Kobe passing and COVID and people losing loved ones and everything. So just something like sports just brings a bit of, you know, we've hearing a lot of the word normalcy or the new normal. And it's just a time to get a little bit of an escape from an otherwise very trying year. And we're going to keep this going and hopefully just bring a little joy and excitement into everybody's life, you know, once a week. So signing out, my name is Emilio Bucks for Kristen Petit and the notorious T. Nick. See y'all next week. Bear down.
Fans, are you ready for a challenge? Do you want to show you care? Well, go to Bears Nation Facebook page and check out Bears Care Fundraising Challenge. Be there for the Bears fans. Thanks.